Oh, hello YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, I am doing my mid-May wrap-up. So I'll be honest, I have not been reading that much this May so far. I don't know, I've been really busy and like I just wanted to take breaks. You know, I finally hit that point where I'm just like, oh gosh, I need a break. I think it's also, I'm like still adjusting to working from home. And like I had a whole like reading schedule of working and commuting and like it was a whole thing. And now that like I don't do that anymore, I'm still like finding my way. So I've read a little less than normal, but that's okay. You know, it's not a numbers game here. It's just an enjoyment game here. And I almost enjoyed all of these. On that note, let's just get into reviewing some books. First category is books I read on a dare, and I read one of them. So on a live show this month, an author was recommended to me. And then whilst on the live show, some of my lovely viewers were looking up books by this author, and they found a book called His Banana by Penelope Bloom. And it was so ridiculous that I was like, you know what, I'm buying this. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to read it right now. So I did. Live on the live show, I bought this book. And then I read the book a couple days later. And like, okay, here's the thing. Like, I wouldn't say it's a dumpster fire, but it's a solid yikes. It did not turn out well. But you know what? I'm glad I took the dare and did it. And here's the thing, like this book is so unbelievable. Like I can't suspend my disbelief for this book. And this book happens in the real world. Like it's like the normal real world. Like people have cell phones and jobs and dogs and like they live normal lives. Couldn't believe it. And you know, like I read a lot of books with wizards in them and I'm fine believing that shit. Like, like that's how like bizarre this is. Because like no humans in this book actually act like this. Like this is not how human beings act. It makes no sense. If you know people who do act this way, what are they doing with their lives? I don't know. I'm so confused by like a lot of things here. So this is Natasha and Bruce, right? And Natasha, she is a reporter and a human just clusterfuck, I guess. A clusterfuck of a human is the best way to describe her. A walking tornado, what have you. She's just like, there's no way one person can be this big of a fuck up in life. Like, I really don't think it's possible. And she's basically just a reporter doing kind of shitty little stories. And their boss is like, all right, I need someone to go undercover at this big corporation and get the scoop on them because there might be corruption. And somehow she goes in and she gets an internship there. Mind you, I don't know why interns would have the ability to get the inside scoop on the CEO, because like maybe I don't understand corporate America, but I'm pretty sure interns don't work with the CEO all that much. They're off working doing other things in the office. The CEO isn't managing interns. They got other shit to do. But you know what? I'll let that one slide. That's probably the least believable thing in the book. But basically this whole thing starts off with a banana. There's this guy Bruce, and he is like the leader of the company. He's a twin brother as well. They'll come in later. But he basically loves bananas, and every day he wants his banana. He has a banana every day, and he keeps it in the break room, and he writes his name on it, and everybody knows, don't eat Bruce's banana. He will be upset. And you know, homegirl Natasha walks in there, starts eating the banana. And even Bruce is like, what made you think that was okay? Like, first of all, it says my name on it. Second of all, like, did you think it was complimentary? One banana in the whole office was complimentary? Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you this stupid? How are you this stupid? I'm hiring you. Like, what? It really did not make a lot of sense. But again, I'm like, fine. Whatever, it's a romance. I'm letting some shit slide. And here's the part where, like, it just went off the rails. Because, like, there's so much sexual talk in this office that is insane. Like, at best, this is an HR nightmare. At worst, it's a class action Me Too lawsuit for sexual harassment. Oh my word. Like, it made me uncomfortable. And like, I don't even work at this place. It's not real life. This didn't happen to me, and I'm so fucking uncomfortable. Like, the way that these people talk to each other so blatantly about sex. Like, CEO's twin brother, who's like, I guess co-CEO or something, like, he starts talking to Natasha, and he's like, yeah, keep wearing those like tight skirts and talk dirty to my brother, I'll drive him wild. Who the fuck says that to another human in an office when you're the CEO and that's an intern? Oh my God, how have you not been sued like every day of your life? Like, is this the scoop we're looking for? No, they weren't even looking for sexual harassment scoops. They were just looking for like money fraud, and it's like, oh my God, there's a bigger story here, and it's like gross. So there's all of that, and there's just so much bizarre behavior that makes no logical sense whatsoever, to the point where I just was like, what the fuck? So, like, I know this is coming across as like a 1-star book. I think I ended up giving it 2 stars, but really, like, it's gonna go down to 1. I know it. It didn't really have its moments. I didn't think it was good. It's bad. It's a bad book. And it's unfortunate because I wanted to enjoy it. You know, I took a dare on this one, but oh boy. Like, all I could think about was their poor HR person and how they probably haven't slept in years. Just with the sheer amount of complaints they probably get. It's insane. And nothing makes sense. And it's bad. But you know what? I think I would still try to read something different from Penelope Bloom, because maybe it's just this one. Because obviously it's supposed to be stupid. It's called His Banana, for heaven's sakes. Like, no one's expecting this to be like Shakespeare, you know? So I was like, maybe she just is okay with this being shitty because it's supposed to be. But like, maybe I should try to read something that she's not trying to have be shitty. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out right now. But it is what it is, and it was bad, and I didn't like it. But it's a solid yikes of a book. Next category is FF romance, and I read 2 of them. First up, I read Paybacks, A Witch by Lana Harper. And, you know, overall, I had a really fun time with this. It's like witchy, and it's FF romance, and really, I was just enjoying all the witchy shit and like the rom-com zaniness. Like, all of that was super fun. Also, low-key, it kind of gives me like John Tucker Must Die vibes. You remember that movie from the early like 2000s, John Tucker Must Die? It gives me that kind of, because there is a guy who's like the town fuckboy, and he has basically done it with 3 different women, and they all happen to be friends, and at different times, not like concurrently, and they all decide like, hey, let's take this motherfucker down a peg, and you know, they kind of come together in a plan to take him down. And I'm like, yes, into that. And in particular, we're following Emmy, right? She is, I don't know, the prodigal daughter. She grew up in this witchy little town, left due to bad breakup with the fuckboy. And she comes back years later because they're having a big witchy tournament, and she has to like, I don't know, she's like the referee of it, I guess. I can't remember words right now. So in her coming back to town, you know, she also has to get reacquainted with like the witchcraft of the town and her best friend that she's gonna hang out with her, and then enter Talia, another witch in town, who's like super hot apparently, like the hottest hot girl who's ever hotted. But she's there, and she's like, yeah, you know, Gareth, like, we all got screwed over by Gareth, let's take him down. So it's kind of Talia's idea a bit, and Talia and Emmy kind of are like vibing, and I'm like into it. Oh my goodness, like the flirtiness. Talia is like just a panty dropper. Oh my word. You know, like I guess if you had to have like a rake character or something, like, ooh, it's just like dangerous. Like there's like a sexy danger thing going on with her, and I'm like way into it. But yeah, you know, it's about self-growth and finding who you really want to be. It has like a lot of cool witchy like battles. Some people have like necromantic magic, some people have like earth magic, and like all kinds of cool stuff. So there's a lot of different kind of magics going on here. It's a big witchy tournament, and you know, FF romance is pretty like spicy at times, and I'm like, okay, like I had a good time with this, you know. It's like, is it like reinventing the wheel? No, but it was a hot damn, it was a fun time. So I think in the end I gave it like a solid 4, because like I had a very good time with this. It was just a fun time to read. I also read Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. And this one, again, FF romance, but very different vibes. This one is more, it's his contemporary drama. And we're following, you know, the titular Delilah Green. She kind of grew up in this family that didn't really want her, I guess. Basically, her dad married this woman who already had a daughter, and then her dad died, and just like she just kind of got stuck with these people who weren't related to her, like one of those things. And she kind of left this town and never looked back. Then, you know, 10, 12 years later, her stepsister is getting married, and she's like, you need to come photograph my wedding. I'm paying you a bunch of money. And so she goes because, you know, art doesn't really pay a lot of the bills in New York City. So Delilah kind of has to go, and she does, and she runs into Claire, who is like basically epitome of naughty librarian, coming from one naughty librarian to another, like the full getup, like full naughty librarian aesthetic, and I love that. And she's kind of a single mom, and, you know, a little distrustful of like new relationships and stuff, but like there's zing between them, there's attraction, there's like a je ne sais quoi. So they kind of were like, hey, and like it's weird also because they also have known each other like their whole lives. But, you know, there's been like 12 years since they've seen each other essentially. So it is kind of a like, oh no, my childhood friend is now hot kind of situation, even though they weren't really necessarily friends, but like they knew each other. So I'm counting it in that trope. So it's a lot about friendship and kind of overcoming things and finding yourself, finding out who you really want to be your family and who you don't want to be your family. You know, it's kind of one of those stories that has all of that going on in the background. And then spicy FF romance. And I was like, okay, like I was into it. Like they get up to some business. They do it quite a bit in this, and I was like, I'm fine with it. Honestly, I'm like, give me spicy things. I love spicy foods. But overall, I had a really fun time reading this. I gave it like 4 stars. Is it reinventing the wheel? No. Is it a fun time to read? Yes, it is. So yes, it was a good time, you know. It was what it was, and I enjoyed reading it. Last up, I have a retelling, and I read one of those. I read Kaiki by Vaishnavi Patel. Mind you, I have not read the source material for this book, but I kind of went into it blind a little bit because I know it's not really about Ram, which is like the main character from the source material. This is about Kaiki, who is Ram's kind of mother. So in Ram's story, she's full on evil queen, selfish, gets a bad rap, and I feel like this book is like very much doing a lot of damage control here. Like maybe not evil queen, maybe just misunderstood queen kind of thing going on here. And it's also long. It's so long. I'm gonna throw that one out there. It's a long book. It's very, very, very long. And like there's a lot of different parts of this. Like there's a whole bit when she's like a kid, and then like a young woman who's just married this guy, and then like, you know, growing as a woman, and then like kind of a middle-aged woman. So it's just kind of her whole life story a bit. And I don't know, like I thought it was fine. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars in the end. I'm just gonna throw that out there. It was fine. It's just, it's so slow moving that like it was difficult to keep reading it because I was just so like busy with other things in life, and then I had to stop everything I was doing to read. And I was like, maybe it was just like my own like personal like vibes I was giving off, or I'm busy, I want to get through this, and it was moving so slowly that I couldn't get through it as fast as I wanted, and it was bothering me. So maybe it's just me, but I do think the pace in here is slow in general. But besides that, it does have a lot of cool like things going on. You know, it is a retelling of a female mythological figure from Indian mythology. And she, you know, her story is a bit painted with misogyny. Like, let's be real, it is. It was written by a dude who wanted to paint her very one-dimensional, and this is kind of looking at her as if she's not a one-dimensional, like, stick figure with boobs. That's your female character. She's like, no, like, I have thoughts and stuff. So it's kind of like taking off the misogyny brush and like showing who this real person was. So I did appreciate that. I thought like some of the prose was very like lyrical and whimsical. So it does have like things that are very interesting and like I was vibing with. It's just, it's so long. Like overly long. Really, like you could like at least 50 to 100 pages off of this. It's over 400 pages. It's long. It's so long. It could really tighten up a bit, and I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. Hit more action sequences, I think. But a lot of it is just her feeling sad or conflicted about things. And also, you know, trying to make the best life possible for a woman in this time where women didn't really have any rights. She's kind of trying to forge her own path, which is, you know, definitely something very brave to do. So I liked it. I thought this was good, but not great. So 3.5 stars, because like it's slow and it needs more zestiness, I guess. It has a lot of like interesting bits to it, but I wanted more zest. I wanted more like, ooh, that's a punchy bit. A lot of it's like not so punchy. So I don't know. I'm not really describing it in any technical terms. It's just a vibe I got from it. It's a little too slow. It's a little too quiet. I needed something a bit punchier. I needed something that was going to like grab me more than it did. But I think it's pretty good as is. It just could have been better. So 3.5 stars. Well, that's it. That's all the books I've read. I know. I've only read 4 books so far this month. That is below average for me. But again, I've been busy, you know? Like I'm trying not to burn out because like I feel like I've been so busy and like trying to do so many videos and live shows and read so many books and also have a full-time job that I'm feeling burnt out a little bit, and I needed to take breaks for my own sanity. So I read less in general, but hopefully that will pick up. I don't know. I'm also kind of just reading stuff that I wasn't like crazy into. Like I enjoyed it, I had a good time, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I love it, you know? So I think that was also maybe a contributing factor. But anyway, let me know in the comments down below, what's the last book you read on a dare? You know what I mean? Like, hey, you should read this, and like you just do it just for the hell of it. What was your dare book? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe, and if you want a cool exclusive content and a book club, all of that jazz, you can join my Patreon. The link will be in the description down below. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye!